Welcome back, Focus Learners. Let's jump right into today's explainer. We're going to explore a truly fantastic story about the Green Champions of Oakville. And the really cool part? Through Lily's incredible adventure, we are going to unlock some absolutely essential vocabulary to help you talk about our environment and how we can protect it. So, let's step into her world.
Okay, let's dive into this. Can one single person actually save an entire town? It kind of sounds like the plot of a superhero movie, right? But the story of the Green Champions proves that you don't need a cape to be a hero. You really just need the right vocabulary, a strong voice, and the willingness to act. You know, when we look at massive global issues, it's super easy to feel incredibly small. But as we follow Lily's journey today, I want you to keep this big question right in the back of your mind. We're going to learn some pretty heavy words today about the troubles facing Oakville, but we're also going to learn the vocabulary of hope and action.
So, Oakville was a beautiful place, but things were rapidly changing. The story tells us that lately they had experienced a severe heat wave in the summer, followed by a prolonged drought that left the local river completely dry. Listen to those descriptive words. A severe heat wave isn't just a hot day, it's dangerously, overwhelmingly hot. And a prolonged drought means there's been literally no rain for a very, very long time. It's prolonged, stretched out. Imagine the local river, where kids used to swim, just turned to cracked mud. This really sets the stage for the very real crisis unfolding in this once perfect town.
And this brilliantly illustrates the chain reaction that happens in nature. See, it doesn't just happen overnight. First, in the summer, that severe heat wave strikes. The intense temperatures just bake the earth. Then, moving into autumn, the prolonged drought means no water is coming to save the plants or the animals. Finally, by winter, a full environmental crisis unfolds. Now, environmental crisis is a vital phrase for us to learn. It means the natural world around them is in deep, deep trouble, and the normal balance of nature has completely broken down. It's a total domino effect of disaster.
But here is where our hero steps in. Lily was someone who would tend to do everything she possibly could to help nature. It was just her natural habit because she was so passionate about the earth. She didn't just like it, she cared deeply and emotionally about it. Her ultimate goal was to combat global warming, meaning to actively fight against the rising temperatures of the planet. And her big strategy? Well, she decided it was time to go green, which is our fantastic catch-all phrase for adopting a truly environmentally friendly lifestyle.
Driven by this incredible passion, Lily and her classmates decided to take some physical action. One afternoon, they headed out to clean up the local forest. Now, they expected to pick up a few loose wrappers, maybe some old soda cans, but what they found waiting for them among the trees was entirely unexpected. It was a shocking discovery that would completely change Lily's perspective on her town and forced her to confront a very dark reality about human behavior.
Here is the absolute villain of our story. A nearby factory was acting as a source of pollution, dumping toxic waste near the trees. Now, a source of pollution is exactly what it sounds like. It's the starting point, the origin of the mess that's ruining the environment. And what were they dumping? Toxic waste. Toxic means poisonous, deadly, incredibly harmful. This wasn't just everyday trash, you guys. These were dangerous chemicals seeping directly into the ground where the children played and the animals lived.
So the crucial point is how all these destructive elements connect together in our story. Because that factory was a source of pollution that released toxic waste, what happened next? Well, as a consequence, which is a brilliant transitional phrase meaning as a result, the poisonous chemicals began to damage the ecosystem. And remember, the ecosystem isn't just one tree or one bug. It's the entire connected web of plants, animals, and soil. When you introduce toxic waste, the plants die, the soil becomes unsafe, and the whole ecosystem begins to collapse.
But you know, it wasn't just the big, bad factory to blame here. The forest was literally filled with plastic wraps and boxes from their very own neighbors. On one hand, you have human action, people buy items with unnecessary packaging, all that extra plastic and cardboard you just don't need, and then they carelessly throw away their trash on the ground. To humans, it's just tossing a wrapper. But on the other side, the wildlife result is highly destructive. Carelessness from humans translates into total devastation for the animals living in that forest.
And this devastation had real, heartbreaking faces. The story notes that Lily found a bird with a severe injury caused by a plastic ring, and they discovered that many small animals were losing their food sources and beginning to starve to death. Let's pause on the phrase severe injury. Just like the severe heat wave we talked about earlier, a severe injury is serious, terrible, and very painful. The trash humans left behind was physically hurting the innocent creatures of Oakville.
Now, what's really important is that we bravely look at the hardest vocabulary here: starve to death. It means to suffer or die because you simply do not have enough food to eat. Because the ecosystem was damaged by toxic waste, the plants died. Because the plants died, the small animals lost their food sources. If they can't eat, they starve to death. It's a really harsh reality, but learning this vocabulary allows us to clearly communicate exactly why protecting the environment is a matter of life and death for local wildlife.
But remember our hero's mindset? Lily was absolutely not going to stand in that forest and just cry about it. The tragedy didn't break her spirit, it ignited a massive fire inside her. Lily decided she was going to fight back, and she was going to use her voice to change the entire town of Oakville.
Lily knew a super important truth. These problems were highly preventable. They literally didn't have to happen. If people just changed their habits, the destruction would stop. Because it was preventable, she decided to campaign for a cleaner town. When you campaign for something, you organize, you speak up, and you try your hardest to persuade others to join your cause. She and her friends made posters to clearly demonstrate the issues. They didn't just tell people, they painted pictures and showed them clear, undeniable proof of how human actions were hurting nature.
To make this work, Lily had to contrast the bad habits with a completely new vision for the town. The old way was to leave lights on, to burn fossil fuels for electricity, and to drive cars everywhere, which releases thick, dirty exhaust fumes into the air, making the planet warmer. But Lily taught her neighbors the new way. She taught them to conserve energy, which simply means to save it and use it wisely, and ultimately to go green in their daily lives.
Lily actually laid out a very clear 3-step action plan for Oakville to learn from. Step 1, conserve energy at home, something as simple as turning off the lights when you leave a room. Step 2, buy eco-friendly products. These are things that don't harm the earth, like reusable shopping bags instead of plastic or bamboo toothbrushes. And step 3, which was huge, she wrote to the mayor asking the town to invest in alternative energy. Alternative energy means power from natural sources that don't run out, like putting solar panels right on the roof of the local school.
Because of her campaigning and her brilliant use of facts, Lily's hard work actually paid off. The mayor listened, the neighbors listened, Oakville changed its ways. And they all came to realize the core moral of this story. Protecting the environment isn't just a choice, it is a responsibility to keep the planet alive. A responsibility is a duty, something you absolutely must do because it is the right thing to do. Lily showed them that everyone everywhere shares this duty.
And that brings us to the most important part of this explainer. The story of Oakville isn't just a fairy tale, it's a mirror of our own world. We've learned some incredible vocabulary today, from understanding a prolonged drought and toxic waste to powerful solutions like eco-friendly products and alternative energy. Now that you have the vocabulary, you have the power. Protecting the planet is our responsibility. So what will you do today to go green? Think about your own habits, Focus Learners. It's time to be the green champion of your own town. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you next time.